Let's see. Are we live? Show me some love if y'all can see me. Hit that like button on the way in. All right, looks like we live. Let me see. Let's just wait a couple minutes, couple seconds, guys, before we get started. Cigars and chill. Another cigars and chill on the couch. AB in the building. What's going on, brother? How's everyone doing today? Once we get to, let's get 6 likes. We can get 6 likes. We got 9 people in the building right now. Let's get 6 thumbs up, and then we'll get started. Charles Newsom, what's going on, brother? Thanks for tuning in. AB said, you happy your boy in? I'm most definitely happy. This is a breath of fresh air. You know what? Want to know something funny? Meanwhile, Soros, Musk is 100x more wealthy. True, but we're gonna get into the particulars today. Wisdom bars. We know. I hope you know about Soros and his uh, agenda to dismantle America. And it's so crazy because I knew about this deal, um, like maybe about a month ago. These so he acquired essentially the second network, terrestrial meaning like radio, traditional radio wave. Soros just bought this company. Audacy, I think is the name of the company. We're gonna watch. I got it queued up. We're gonna watch uh, Senator Kennedy go in on him. But it all made sense. Like so, it was a rushed deal. Something that would have normally taken a year and some change, especially something this big, would have taken over a year to get through the FCC, right? Um, but as Senator Kennedy talks, it started to all make sense. And we've heard this before, like Biden is a puppet of Soros, and Kamala is controlled by Soros, and all of that, right? Well, after you hear this, you're gonna be like, yeah. I'll pause it at the point where I had an epiphany, like, oh yeah, yeah, this is exactly why we were doing counter-intuitive, counter-American, anti-American things, and had an anti-American policy the last 4 years. It's simply because Soros was the battery in the back of Sleepy Joe and Kamala Harris. It's just that simple. You know, he wanted Soros was all about open borders. He didn't like borders. It's crazy. Like so now it all makes sense. Um, Unfortunately, a majority of the Democratic Party was bought and paid for by external factors. Hi, been in the building. What's going on, bro? Guessing you haven't watched the Jones Plantation. I have not. Musk isn't trying to dismantle America. He's doing it with deeper pockets with all these deals and companies. No, he's not at all trying to dismantle America. If you can't see wisdom bars that Elon is pro America, I don't know what else do you want to see? What else you want to see, bro? His companies are here in America. He's employing most of the employees are here in America. I don't understand. Most of his big projects are here in America. Starlink, built from the ground up here in America. SpaceX here in America. Tesla here in America. He could have easily moved most of his manufacturing over to China or India to produce Tesla. So I don't know. I totally disagree with you on that one, bro. Elon is definitely is putting America first for sure. Trump wouldn't have appointed him if he wasn't. How's an apartheid baby pro-American? Just because you're born somewhere else doesn't mean you're not pro wherever you live currently. That don't that's a weak argument right there, Wisdom Bars. You're gonna be uh you're gonna have the most interest where you lay your head. Right? He's been here for what, 30 years? Maybe even long, I don't know, 40 years. He's been here a long time. Coca-Cola says Gulf of America equal legally drill oil. That was hilarious. When he said we're gonna rename Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. It's just to me, it's just a flex, man. It's America back and strong. It's just a flex. It's all optics. You got to play military mind games with these fools out here, these other countries. It's like Trump got in and it's state property, man. You either get down or you lay down. That's where we are. So today we are going to go over this speech from Senator Kennedy, which exposes this is crazy, y'all. Like Soros, and I hope they somehow are able to reverse this. Soros bought the second largest conglomerate of radio stations in America right before Biden left. Biden fast tracked it for him too. And I didn't know Biden gave him some award like a Citizens of America award or something. It's the highest honor you can give someone. So clearly, buddies. But we're gonna go over this today. D Fuentes in the building. Yeah, smash that like button, y'all. We got maybe 8 likes, 16 people in here right now. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up before we get into it. And this is Cigar and Chill, right? So I'm smoking the same cigar from a few days ago on the inauguration. I wanted to try this what is it called? El Septimo. El Septimo. Have you guys seen these? I'm smoking the Van Gogh series. I know it's chewed up, but I've been smoking on it for about, when was inauguration was Monday. So I lit this up Monday. Not impressed. Not even gonna hold you up. Matter of fact, let me see. I have the tab open to see what kind of wrapper, binder, and filler this bad boy is. So the Van Gogh, and it's a pretty expensive cigar too. It's pretty expensive. It's about 45, about 50 bucks, 45 bucks for this stick. Box of 20. See if I can show you guys on this. This is what the full cigar looks like. It's a salamandrin shape or roll, I believe. 55 ring gauge, but that's at the max. It's tapered off like a figure. It's like a figurado shape, so it tapers off at the end. I don't like large ring gauge cigars, to be honest with you. Pause. But let me see. This cigar has what is okay? So let me see. It's not even giving me where the tobacco is from. Okay, here we go. Wrapper undisclosed / proprietary aging. What does that mean? I've never seen that in my life. An undisclosed wrapper. That's probably why I don't like the shit. It's horrible. The binder is a Habano from Ecuador. The filler is Dominican Republic, Ecuadorian, and Nicaraguan. So it's a blend of filler But the wrapper is where you get most of your flavor from a cigar. So to not know where the wrapper is, they got it undisclosed, is pretty interesting. Now I'll have to try some of their other sticks. They do have a whole bunch of lines. They say you're supposed to try a stick 3 times before giving it a judgment. But at any rate, let's get into man. We dodged a bullet with this election, y'all. I'm telling you. Like, and it's so crazy because I was with my family last night, and now everybody is all comfortable talking about Trump is, he's doing, you see he did this and you see he did that. It's about time they did. I'm like, where was all this energy before? But unfortunately, sometimes people, they need to see it happen before they become a believer or whatever. I don't know, change their opinion. I don't know, but let's get into this. I sped it up so we it won't take all day.
President Biden, I wish him well, gave his farewell address to America. He said a number of things, but one in particular got my attention. He warned America about, quote, his words, not mine, quote, a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of very few ultra-wealthy people. President Biden went on to say, and I quote again, today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead, end quote. Now, I don't know who President Biden was talking about, but I know one particular circumstance about which I'm going to speak that fits his warning. Again, I don't know if the circumstance I'm about to describe is what President Biden meant, but if the shoe fits, wear it, Cinderella. We cut to the chase. Mr. George Soros is an oligarch. He's one of the wealthiest people in the world.
Let me just say this real quick.
He's a friend of the president.
So, again, this is what the Democrats do. They say everything everything they say, I should phrase it that way. Everything they say that is bad about the right or any other organization or any other party or whatnot, everything they say bad about that particular group is what they actually do. It's the oldest play. It's the oldest play in the book, right? This is what they do. So you could just basically take anything they say and just reverse it and say, "Oh, that's what you're doing." So what Kennedy was saying is that he wrote a letter, or not a letter, but he put it in his farewell speech, which I think I did stream that. In his farewell speech, he said we're about to go into the most powerful oligarchical structure in America. Basically meaning that, Trump coming in is going to have a whole bunch of rich people and powerful people controlling us. See, that's where I disagree. That's where I disagree. See, we had that. It was just obfuscated. They just, did the bait and switch and made it seem like they were for the people, but all the policies were for them. Literally, the Biden crime family. He pardoned everyone in his family. That says it all. So no, you were the oligarch, Mr. Biden. You were the oligarch. Oh, stupid man.
In fact, President Biden just gave him, I think, the highest civilian honor that a president can give to a civilian. The Presidential Medal of Freedom.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's what he gave
Mr.
Soros.
George Soros is buying WWL AM radio in New Orleans. Let me say that again. That may not mean much to you, Mr. President, but it means a lot to my people in Louisiana. Mr. George Soros is buying WWL AM radio in New Orleans. WWL AM radio is practically an institution in my state. It's been around since 1922. 1922. Over 100 years. It's a clear channel, which what the communications experts call a clear channel Class A station. Its transmitter power output is about 50,000 watts. That's a lot, folks. That's the maximum for commercial AM stations in the United States. It's the lead station on the New Orleans Saints radio network. It's an important station. And Mr. George Soros is buying it. Now, what does that mean, and how did this happen? WWL is owned by a national company called Audacy. 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 Audacy has about 220 radio stations nationwide, one of which, of course, is WWL. Second largest radio network in America. It reaches, I think, 45 different markets throughout our country, Mr. President. 165 million Americans. It's huge. Audacy borrowed too much money. They took on too much debt. They took on about $1.9 billion worth of debt, and they couldn't service that debt with their revenues. So what did they do? They did what many other corporations do when they can't service their debt. They went into what's called Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Not Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is when they liquidate the company. Chapter 11 bankruptcy is when a company goes into bankruptcy in front of a bankruptcy judge and says, Judge, we want to get all of our creditors and debtors together and restructure our cash flow and our debt so we can come out of this bankruptcy as a surviving entity. They went into Chapter 11 with a bankruptcy plan. Mr. George Soros immediately pounced. He, of that $1.9 billion in debt, he bought about $415 million of it. Cash on the barrel, paid 50 cents on the dollar. One of the tenets of the reorganization was that all the current shareholders would be wiped out. The new creditors would assume equity positions in the company. I know that sounds complicated, and it can be, but really what it means is that the bondholders, one of which is Mr. Soros, after he bought the $415 million worth of debt, became a shareholder. And Mr. Soros is now the largest single shareholder in Audacy radio stations, including WWL AM in New Orleans.
So he's the largest shareholder of the second largest radio conglomerate in the United States. Round of applause. Round of applause. Let's keep going.
An institution. And in America, you can't just go do this. Why is that? Because those airwaves on which WWL and the other radio stations broadcast, they don't belong to the radio stations. They belong to you, and you, and you, and you. These airwaves, the spectrum, if you will, they're owned by the American people. And years ago, we created the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC. We set it up to be in charge of the airwaves that belong to the American people, to make sure that those airwaves were being used prudently by radio stations. For example, if a radio station is bought by a bunch of foreign nationals or foreign entities, the FCC has got to approve it. For example, anytime a broadcast license, as is the case with Audacy, is transferred, the FCC has to approve it. So Mr. Soros' purchase of WWL radio and the 219 other radio stations had to go before the FCC. And it did. And it went, the approval for Mr. Soros went through the FCC like green grass through a goose. And it was a party line vote. It was last September. All three Democrats, or 5 people on the FCC, All three Democrats said, let it go. And they short-circuited the normal process. Now, I'm not an FCC expert, and I'm not a communications law expert, but I've read, this has been widely reported, and I've read about it in many reports. Normally, on a deal of this size, when 220 radio stations are being transferred, their licenses, using airways that belong to the American people, and there's a substantial percentage of foreign owners, it would take about a year to get through the FCC. FCC would do a complete investigation. Not this time, no. This time was special. What happened was what some members of the media have called the Soros shortcut. They just got together and ran it
shortcut.
And I mentioned it was like green grass to a goose. 3-2. Now, the two Republicans on the commission, they're screaming the whole time, whoa, Nellie, whoa, whoa. Why aren't we taking this seriously? Why aren't we investigating this? Why aren't we doing our due diligence? They were outvoted. 3-2. You know, when even in a democracy, when you've got the votes, you can make a porcupine like hot peppers. If you've got the votes, it doesn't make it right. A number of people petitioned the FCC and said, please don't do this. One of the groups that petitioned the FCC was a group called Media Research Center. The FCC, 3 Democrats, 2 Republicans, dismissed them. But this is what the Media Research Center said. Quote, their words, not mine. There is no question that George Soros and his affiliated businesses are looking to control these radio stations to advance their particular brand of activism, close quote. And the MRC urged the FCC not to create, quote, a special Soros shortcut, quote, that would circumvent their rules and allow the deal to move forward. They did it anyway. Here's what Mr. Troy A. Miller, NRB president and CEO, said. He said, quote, my words, or his words, not mine. Quote, the fact that the FCC is apparently willing to bypass the usual protocols, that means the normal procedures, to get this transaction done just weeks before a presidential election, and right after the President of the United States gave Mr. Soros the Presidential Medal of Freedom, seriously undermines the commission's credibility and raises.
So, first of all, shout out to Mr. Sakila. We haven't seen him in a while. Shout out to him. We're glad to have you chime in here, my G. AB said Fauci got preemptive pardon too. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, my friend. Whole nother conversation. Don't even have, we can't even fit that in this one. Digital Asset Decent said, are we at a cigar lounge or chilling at the house? I do not recognize the couch. No, we're at the crib, bro. I'm at the crib right now. Yeah, I'm on the couch, man. The boucle couch. The Italian boucle, baby. Coca-Cola said Supra Cycle. What's that? What's Super Cycle? You mean Super Cycle? Okay, congratulations to the new job, Mr. Sakila, and new house. A 25 be very prosperous for you. Crypto City said, what's going on? What's going on, bro? Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. We only got 16 likes right now. Let's get those likes up, y'all. So again, right now we're talking about the unprecedented move that Biden made right before leaving office, as though he needed to make any more moves to show that his interest was not the American people's interest. Soros, again, just to reiterate, has acquired the second largest terrestrial, they call it terrestrial radio company conglomerate in the United States, over 220 different stations around the country. Insane. Oh, Coca-Cola. Yeah, all right, bro, I got you. um, Mr. Digital Asset said, man, you said it can't fit in the preemptive pardons. How are they gonna pardon people not convicted? Admitting guilt couldn't be easier. Another stream, perhaps, to dive in, like you mentioned. We're definitely gonna dive into it, my friend. We are definitely gonna dive into it. We gotta chop it up though, because it's just too much to digest in one stream. But the preemptive pardons clearly has only happened once in before, and that was what president pardoned the other over was it Watergate, I believe. But that was a different scenario. That was he did that because of perception, and he felt like because he had gone through that whole situation, um, the court of public opinion would you just look bad on that president? So that's why he did that. But this is unprecedented right here. Unprecedented. So we're gonna continue watching this. Now, granted, this got over 2 million, almost 3 million views on Forbes the other in about 2 or 3 days. So people are listening. And again, I heard about this, but I didn't know the details. And we're hearing it now about this deal that Soros basically Biden backdoored the FCC, fast tracked them to allow Soros to buy 220 radio stations, the second largest radio conglomerate in the United States. Let's go.
Unwarranted questions of whether administrative processes are being manipulated to exert political interference and preference, end quote. Here's what one of the Republican members of the FCC in dissent said, quote, Commissioner Brendan Carr, who's soon to be chairman of the FCC, now that there's a new sheriff in town. Here's what Mr. Carr said. The commission's decision today approving Mr. Soros's plan is unprecedented. Never before has the commission voted to approve the transfer of a broadcast license, let alone the transfer of broadcast licenses for over 200 radio stations across more than 40 markets without following the requirements and procedures codified in federal law. Pass me the sick bucket.
Pass me the sick bucket.
Right. But they didn't.
What kind of down south shit is that? Pass me the sick bucket.
You're entitled to believe what you want.
Sure are.
If it's legal, you're entitled to do what you want. And Mr. Soros is certainly entitled to his opinion. He is. I don't agree with him, but he is certainly entitled to it in America. I'm not much into this cancel culture, and hopefully we've seen the end of it. But when you're acquiring radio licenses, which can influence public opinion, and you're doing it in part, not exclusively, but in part with foreign money, well, that's why we have the FCC. But I want to make this clear. I believe in free speech and free expression. You're not free if you can't say what you think. You're not free if you can't express yourself. And Mr. Soros has that right. But here's where he stands. I want my people in Louisiana to know who's buying WWL radio in New Orleans. Mr. Soros is a billionaire. God bless him. He made his money himself. He has poured much of his wealth.
Listen to this.
Into what, in my opinion, are radical causes. He's now working with his son, who I understand is a very smart young man his name is Alex Soros. Mr. George Soros and Mr. Alex Soros hold some, how should I put this, non-mainstream American beliefs. For example, Mr. George Soros has called the United States, quote, the main obstacle to a stable and just world.
Mr.
Soros believes that our country,
the main obstacle to a stable world. That's what he thinks about America. And we are allowing him to purchase the second largest. See, this is what this shit has to stop. As Deborn said, he hopes they roll this back. I hope they roll this back too. I hope they roll this back too. Because there is no other country that would allow someone with those types of, just imagine saying you had someone from the United States saying China is the most is the biggest obstacle for world peace and progression, and then you go over there as an American and they allow you to purchase the second largest anything. The second largest, the third largest, allow you to purchase anything with that type of ideology, with that type of framework, thought process. It won't happen. Only in America. Because America's up for sale. Or at least it was up for sale. Big time. Big time. Let's continue.
Is, quote, the main obstacle to a stable and just world. Not China, not Iran, not North Korea,
right.
The United States of America.
Right.
Pass me the sick bucket.
Pass me the sick bucket.
Mr. Soros has also said that China has, look, his words, not mine. China has a, quote, better functioning government than the United States of America. Mr. Soros does not believe that the United States should have secure borders.
Yeah.
It's called national.
He said that China's government is more efficient and better than America's. Now, whether or not that is true, there may be some truth to it. Typically, and you know, they don't think that they run a communist society, or maybe they do. I don't know. They feel like it's a hybrid over there in China, but you know, usually when you rule with the iron fist, things are much more efficient, right? Just like in blockchain, if you have a network, a blockchain that is centralized, fully centralized, you know, it's a gradient. It's a gradient scale. It's not a binary thing. You don't have a centralized, decentralized blockchain. It's a gradient scale, right? But let's just say you're more on the full centralization side of the scale of consensus, right? Well, it's much more efficient. You can pivot. You can do things much easier. You can scale easier. But that doesn't mean it's better in the long run. Shout out to Dave Rumbelow for tuning in. He said he needs to be excommunicated from our constitutional republic. Agreed. Rage Against the Machine. What's up, Cuzzo? He said only in America. Crazy, bro. At least he recognized America is a republic, different from a democracy. Absolutely. Very true. A lot of us don't realize that. But we on politics today, ladies and gentlemen. We on politics.
A, quote, obstacle, end quote, to his plan for widespread immigrant resettlement. Mr. Soros and his family, as you probably know, have spent millions and millions of dollars to elect prosecutors throughout America who believe that violent criminals are the real victims. These prosecutors believe, for the most part, that if a cop has to shoot a criminal, it's always the cop's fault, but if a criminal shoots a cop, it's always the gun's fault. These prosecutors that Mr. Soros has backed with millions of dollars all believe that if you're concerned about crime, you're automatically a racist. Mr. Soros and his son Alex have called for, Alex in particular, have called for softer sentences on violent criminals. This is what he has said. I'm quoting his words, not mine. But if we are serious, Mr. Alex Soros said, but if we are serious about ending mass incarceration, we must also rethink our response to crimes that are more serious, including violent ones. Even those who have been victims of violence increasingly do not believe in long-term prison sentences. In short, Mr. Soros, both George and Alex, believe that America would be better off if we had open borders. They believe that if America would be better off, in my opinion, this is how I read their writings, if we ended jails, and if we ran our government like the Communist Party of China. I don't do that. But Mr. Soros, both of them are entitled to their opinion. But my people in Louisiana are entitled to know whose opinion they're hearing on the radio. And this has not been reported once in Louisiana. Let me say it again. Mr. George Soros, through a expedited procedure, I'm trying to be even-handed here, who received the presidential Medal of Freedom from President Biden, and who is close to President Biden and all of my Democratic colleagues, on a 3-2 vote at the FCC, has been able to buy over 200 radio stations throughout America, including WWL Radio. And I want my people to know about it. And I want us to make sure that it was done legally. I'm not saying it wasn't done legally. I am saying
it wasn't.
I am saying that it looks funny. Not funny, ha-ha. It looks weird the way this was done. It has the aroma of politics. And I hope the new FCC revisits this issue. These licenses and these airwaves do not belong to me or the FCC or to Audacy or to WWL. They belong to you and you and you, the American people. And we're supposed to make sure through our FCC. That's why God created the FCC. If these licenses,
I don't know if God created the FCC, but I don't know. You might went a little bit too far there, big fella. God created the FCC. Okay, but you get the picture. And so it's the playbook. You know, I just, like I said, I've known about, and I know you guys are pretty informed. A lot of you are informed about George Soros, and he's had his battery in the back of the Democratic Party for a very long time. This ain't nothing new. You know, Obama, but it got worse with Biden. And it got worse with Biden because I think Biden is he's more compromised. He's more compromised. So it's easier to, you know, persuade and influence a person if their morals aren't in the right order. If they don't have any morals or very little. You know what I mean? Shout out to Crypto Polio. I saw him in the building. And also French Toaster. I saw him in the building as well. Shout out to him or them. What we got? 10 Pounds says, we back dictatorships. How is that spreading democracy? But 10 Pounds, you just said that Trump was the GOAT. I literally just saw a message from you saying Trump is the GOAT from my live stream about him freeing, pardoning the one and only Silk Road trader, Ross Ulbricht. You just said that. So I'm confused, 10 Pound. I'm thoroughly confused. We got Azul in the building. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button, guys, as you guys come in here. We got 19 likes. Let's get those up. Okay, 10 Pounds says Trump is the GOAT. He did the thing, but the government isn't Trump. True. However, I will say this: I think that's why we had this battle. That's why we had these attempts on this lie, the two impeachments, the lawfare, because the government was fighting Trump, right? And so now that Trump is in, I feel like and he has pretty much the congressional leeway because it's all Republican now. He's gonna get pretty much, he is the government now. 10 pound. He is the government now, and until midterms, he is the government. So if he does a good job, listen, I'm not one of those ultra MAGA Trump can't do wrong. He's human and he can and will do wrong and make mistakes. So I don't have that type of expectation of Trump. I just know he's the best president I've ever seen. I give you that much. So if he can execute on, you know, whatever he's got rolled out, his roadmap for the next 2 years up until midterms, if he can execute, then he's going to continue to keep that power up until the end of his term. So it is what it is. Let me get my ashtray. Hit that like button. So I just think that we basically see that Biden was pretty much controlled by Soros for the last 4 years. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. Soros was basically the battery pack behind Biden having open borders. Just it was just counterintuitive to America. It was nothing that he was doing was to help America. So now it all makes sense. Crypto Pollo says, well, let me read 10 pounds first. Trump isn't all his people. He's just one man being given an opportunity to allow these oppressors to save face and figure out what comes next. Crypto Pollo says the rest of this year is going to be very interesting politically. He thinks we will go back normal stuff like two genders. Ivan says here, Republican HOR, Republican Senate, Republican POTUS, majority Republican Supreme Court. Correct. So from a political science perspective, 10 pound, this is Trump's government. He he got carte blanche to do whatever the hell he wants. Ashtray looking like a snack bowl. that's a A for Wente. A for Wente. Ashtray, very nice ashtray. Um, light lights and lights a cheap cigar, but more expensive than a Black and Mild. Hey, do your thing, brother. Do your thing. Donald of government efficiency, Doge. Yeah. A lot of people say Vivek, he got booted out of Doge for the comments he made about the H1B or H1, what is it called? H1B1 or H1 visa comment he made. And it's possible. But the Republicans do need some seats in Ohio. There's some seats that'll be with JD Vance leaving, being VP. There's an empty seat there, and or he could run for governor of Ohio. How do y'all feel about Trump and this meme coin? I've been looking on X and kind of getting a pulse on how people feel about that. Tim Pound, I really want to know how you feel about Trump meme coin. Do you think it's exploitive? Do you think he's exploiting the people, or is it free? Is it a free market type thing? H-1B visa is a visa that has to have full-time employment. I was a recruiter for tech and non-tech, so dealt with. Okay, all right, got you. Deborn says Vivek is going for governor of Ohio and will circle back in four. I don't like Vivek for president. I don't like JD Vance for president. I think the golden era is over after these 4 years. I don't know who can carry the MAGA torch. I don't see it. Only person I see that could carry it would be Trump, one of Trump's sons, his oldest son. But I don't know if he wants to uh, go down that route. Crypto Pollo said he thinks Trump coin will hit over 100. It's possible. But that float, baby, that's why I shorted it the other day. I did a video. Go check that video out if y'all missed it. Go after this live stream. Go check out the video. I said, I'm sorry, Trump, but I had to short. I had to short you. I break it all down in there. XRP M Bridge is coming under his lead. Tell me more about that, 10 Pound. You know, I'm not an XRP fan. Just AB said, obviously an exploit. Okay. I'm not buying a meme coin, capitalist, and free market. Yeah. This I said, blood. Who do you like for president? Trump. That's it. I might be able to deal with the RFK. I might be able to deal with RFK. I'm not like hard party land. I'm not, I wouldn't just vote right. It's just that the left been compromised and taken over. It's the strangest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like what happened to moderate Democrats? Very strange. So yeah, until the left gets his act together, and you see RFK went from left, he went from Democrat to independent, and now he on the red side, baby. He on the right side. Slick Rick said, I feel the whole bull market is going to get rug pulled. I have that feeling too. So maybe tonight I'll be doing another live stream at 8 o'clock. We'll see. But there's some, I was saying this in the chat room, in the telegram room, there are some uh high liquidity grabs at $113,000 Bitcoin, which we could. So there's some liquidity at 113 and some liquidity at 70 something thousand, right? So you have to think, okay, what scenario will play out most likely at this point where we're at trading at what 102 or something like that? I think we're currently at 105. We're at 105. I almost feel like we might go up before going down. So I can see a liquidity grab at 113,000, then down 50%. Mrs. Tequila said, I missed that one. Hell yeah, it's exploiting. Isn't the free market? Just have to know what's what. Agreed. $100 per Trump coin is insane. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, man, that float concerns me. Only 20% of the float is available to the public. 80% is still held by two companies, two Trump owned companies. Digital asset. I'm okay with RFK too. I'm bipartisan and vote for who's going to fuck up the country the least. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I like that. I like that. So yeah, that's it, guys. Again, it just shows that Soros pretty much his anti-American agenda aligned with Biden's anti-American agenda, and that lets us know that they were working hand in hand, probably since Obama, but it got extremely worse under Biden. And like it went full sin. Crypto Pollo said he might become a Bitcoin maxi. These altcoins are BS. Hmm. No, don't do that, bro. Blockchain is way bigger than Bitcoin, especially under Trump. You listen, you're gonna want, and I'm glad you brought that up. You're gonna want to be in altcoins under Trump because he's gonna open up that regulation. So you're gonna have all types of progress under Trump when it comes to these altcoins. These smart chains, blockchains, blockchain 3.0, 4.0s, GameFi, uh, DeFi, all that is pretty much going to open up. So you're going to see a lot of growth with that. Wow. Okay. So digital asset DGen said Trump coin 80% that is available is 86% of it that is available is held by 10 wallets, and then the 80% that Trump. So this guy owns, him and his team own a huge amount of the float of this coin, which is insane. So you're gonna see I think you're going to see downward pressure on Trump coin just simply because they're going to be releasing more. Now they could burn, they could do some burns, and that could balance it out. But we'll see. Flat smack. Yeah, how the world shifts, right? As the world turns. Anyone else remember when Trump was anti-Bitcoin? Yep, and crypto, and then everyone was happy when Gary. It's crazy, bro. We live in a simulation. Insane. All right, listen, I don't have a problem with someone shifting their opinion about something as long as the shift is in the right direction. And he flipped. He definitely flipped 180 degrees. And I told you guys when he was bashing Bitcoin, the reason why he was bashing Bitcoin because he knows that the dollar has to stay king. We got to keep the dollar king. That's our national security, right? That's really the nuclear bomb. We got to keep that dollar strong and in demand. We have to do that. This is an interesting point right here. Last I heard, there were 23,000 coins and tokens, but now there are over 1 million. That's why Bitcoin isn't moving. You're damn right. It's sucking all the liquidity away from Bitcoin. It's sucking a very good observation. That's why Bitcoin isn't well, there's a few reasons. Bitcoin isn't at $1 million or 90, yeah, $1 million. It should be at 1 million. I told you guys this before the new year. Bitcoin should be at $1 million right now, but it's being manipulated by Wall Street. On top of, as you stated, a lot of that money is only so much money in the market, in the crypto market. So the more options you have, the higher the probability of people picking other coins other than Bitcoin. Bank of Japan tonight. I didn't know that was coming up tonight, this evening. Oh, so we were looking for them to do that back in December. They didn't do it. So it looks like they're going to have a Bank of Japan, a BOJ rate decision tonight, huh? Wow, that's big. Watch out for that. Thank you for that, bro. I did not know that was coming up. So that is probably this evening, not probably what, 7, 8. I can just look. Let me just go ahead and look. So I know for sure. Forex Factory. Let's see. BOJ is tentative, so they're not saying. So I don't know when the BOJ rate will be, but it is tonight. So look out. Midnight, Dave says. Yeah, Trump got saved by DJT, his stock. He made billions off that. That helped him. And I don't know if he's cashed out on this Trump stuff like that. I don't know how much money he's made, but that's it, ladies and gents. I appreciate the crypto actually cigar and chill. We talked about some politics today. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out, and I will check y'all later. Peace.